Hi folks, you're with us today, Tacitus Today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to revisit an essay actually from a little while ago about high sexual partner body count and its relevance, and is it relevant, how relevant, and all that sort of stuff. And I got quite a few people sort of sending me messages and so on, and it seems to be quite a contentious issue. I wouldn't have thought it was that big a deal, or not as big a deal as it seems to be out there. But so I just wanted to add a few different perspectives. Is high body count bad? Is it good? And I'll offer a few things here. Once say you start dating, you're a young person and you're sort of hitting the dating scene for the first time, you're unlikely to come across people with a high body count. I'm sure they're out there. When there's girls in the black housing projects getting pregnant at 11, 12 years old, then I guess they're out there. But generally, you're not going to come across high body counts. So, but let's say you've been married for a while and you get divorced, and I know a few people in that category. My wife's got a few friends that come around and they haven't been divorced that long, and they're sort of hitting the dating scene again, and they're having they're obviously meeting people, given that they're in their 40s now. They're meeting people who've got a much higher body count than would have been the case when they were, say, teenagers. So if you're going to dismiss people for a high body count, then people who are dating and looking for new relationships, if you're going to meet people who have got a high body count and then say, well, hey, you're no good to me, you got a high body count, you're a cheap sort of male or female slut or something, then I don't think that's realistic. Of course, they're older and you're going to have a higher body count, given you're older and given the extra years that you've been out dating. But there's a few things I'd sort of like to add to this. I suppose personal experience in one case, or personal view and thus experience in one case, but also taking a wider view of things. This is just my perspective here. That if a lady decides to be with me, I'm married. I'm not out doing the scene at the moment, but and I hope never to again, by the way. But if a lady wants to be with me, and I know she's had a lot of guys, had a lot of relationships, and she chooses to be with me, assuming I like her and everything as well, of course. But then the attitude I would have, well, she's had an opportunity to see many men in many different scenarios and situations, many different types of men, many different personalities, many shortcomings, many attributes, and given that wide sort of experience that she has, and much of that I accept, would be intimate relations as well, and she chooses to be with me after all that experience, and it's very clear, hey, I want you to be the one. I've tried the others, and I think you're the one I want to be with. Then that's something to be, I would suggest, celebrated, that she's made a conscious choice to be with you. Or the reverse could be the case, the guy choosing the woman but she's made a conscious choice to be with you, and makes that choice after having had many different experiences and had many different men in many different ways, which again would include intimate relations. So I think that's something to be said, and that's something that my personal view is that I would take some sort of confidence in the relationship's possibilities, or even comfort in that. Well, she's got a better idea of knowing what she wants. The reverse would be the case of a woman who's had hardly any relationships, really doesn't know what she wants. You're being nice to her, and you've got a good job, and you've got a nice house or something, and she's dazzled by that, but she's not really making a conscious choice. She's allowing herself to be swept along by events and circumstances and things that seem good. They're shiny on the outside, all that sort of thing. and so she's less able to make a conscious decision or an informed decision because she has less experience and less knowledge of the different types of possibilities that are out there. So I would feel, in my perspective, less confident. But on the other side, she's got a much lower body count. So you can say, well, she's got a lower body count. She's had fewer relationships. Therefore, she's less corrupted by bad relationships. Or given that she doesn't know what else is out there, she'll be satisfied with whatever I give her, and that type of thing. So you can come at it from different angles. I think on overall balance, this is assuming you're not both 18 or something. I think in the overall balance of things, I prefer a woman who's had a number of relationships, and you can call that body count, but that enables her to make an informed decision over what she really wants, or what she's comfortable with or happy with, or what she appreciates. And appreciation is a key thing. I've had 10 relationships, and gee, you're by far and away the best relationship I've ever had, and therefore, I'm happy to commit and put time and effort to making this work. I think that's a better, in the overall scheme of things, a better scenario. Now, the second thing I'd like to comment on, this is probably more unique to me, I guess, and I'll sort of go. I started dating this girl, and she was an athlete, and she was a very physical looking girl, but super fit. She's on pushing 6 foot tall, and I thought she's very hot and sexy, super fit. Great legs and everything. And she was sort of a little bit. This is in the early stages. We are going out on a date. I think we're going to like a restaurant or something, and she wanted to wear, or she suggested that, would I mind if she wore like a sexy outfit, that spray on miniskirt type look, the really short dress and everything. And she had a very, had great poise and quite elegance in the way that she walked. There was nothing cheap or trampy about it. There was something quite sexy, again, elegant and beautiful poise. And what can I say? She's a hot piece of ass. But she said, look, guys don't like it when I wear sexy outfits. They want me to dress down, wear longer dresses or longer skirts, or wear trousers, or this sort of thing. And they didn't want her to show off her super fit physique. They didn't like her wearing high heels because, again, she's like 5'11" or something, and they didn't like her wearing heels. And so she said, well, guys, don't, do you mind? I'd like to, but I don't want to do it if it's going to annoy you. So I was, no, fine with me if that's me. What makes you feel good? Is it going to make you feel sort of sexy to put on the heels and the short dress and everything? Because if it does, then you go ahead and do that. Now, I don't. It didn't worry me. And she said, well, look, a lot of guys are going to look at me and leer at me and so on. So no, I don't mind. No, I'm okay with that. So I took it from, this is the perspective that I applied to this. It was exactly as she said. She's got these heels, so she's like 6'2" in fucking heels, and wearing the sexy outfit. Again, she's got great legs and all that sort of stuff. She's very fit. She can wear this, and there's nothing trampy about the way she walks or stands and so on. So she could pull it off. Now, not every woman can pull it off. She could, so guys were looking at her, and there were guys who just couldn't see. As we're walking down the street, just about every guy is sort of staring at her, and so I took it from this perspective. I said, look, I don't mind this. It doesn't worry me. But I want, if you're going to be checked out by all these different guys, they're going to be looking at you because you're quite stunning and you're very sexy, and you've got this real sort of, I don't know, sexual projection type thing happening. So guys are going to look at you. We can accept that as just a reality of how you look. Even if you wore sort of less sexy outfits, you would still get looked at because of your height and your physique and all that sort of thing. So look, I don't care if you're getting looked at. But if you're going to be looked at, I want you to feel really sexy. I want you to know that these guys all think you're really sexy. I want you to know that their thoughts are, that they'd want to fuck you and everything. I want you to know. I want you to know you're that sexy. You can have that effect on men. And I want you to know that. And I want you to bring those feelings of sexuality, those feelings of sexiness, that the feeling of the power you have of being able to have that effect on men, bring that to me, so that the intensity of that sexuality when we fuck is something that you bring to our relationship, and then that's fine. That's fine with me. I've got the confidence I can handle this. You can walk around. I want you to walk around in sexy outfits. I'm more than okay with this, if it makes you feel more confident and you feel more self-assured in your own sexuality and your own physicality and so on. So that was the perspective I took on that. You get some great sex out of that, by the way. So this was something that the idea of the body count, men leering at her, and they were, and this sort of thing, and being looked at, and seeing the disdain of, other women looking at her. This was all something that I wanted her to feel sexy and confident, because she brought that to me in our relationship, and that had a huge effect. Had an effect, a positive effect in my view, on just the intensity of our sexual relationship. So that's something worth considering. So when you look at body counts and sexuality and attractiveness and all these sorts of things, and even including, I don't know, animal magnetism or anything like that, all that sort of stuff, or even going to the extent of pure lust. There were times, we were out and she's wearing some super sexy outfit, and I'm thinking, I didn't say the thing, but I was thinking, I want to, I can't wait to jump on you and fuck you, and that sort of thing. Now, she liked that. She liked the idea she had that effect. And again, it gave her a sense of confidence. And if you care about your partner or the other person, then things that make them, assuming you're not going crazy or something, the things that make them feel confident and sexy and self-assured within your relationship, and that they're desired and wanted and so on. These are good things and shouldn't be dismissed as, slutty or smutty or something like that, just in isolation. And if you're looking at your, I don't know, if you're looking at your girlfriend's legs rather than going online for porn or something, then that's probably a good thing as well. But I'm not into porn, by the way. So just sort of going in a wider perspective there about I don't think high body count in isolation is a determination of anything. I think you have to look at the situation, the scenario, the age people are, the lifestyle that they have and had, the sort of crowd they run with. I remember there was a girl who seemed to, I know this because I knew her from actually, I think it was like first year college. She ended up hanging out with a crowd just to go around with this quite well-known rock star. And they had this super party, super drugs. Everybody was fucking everybody. And it was out of control. I never thought she was really that sort of girl. But anyway, she hung around with that crowd because it was kind of cool. And it was a great, conversational point. Guess what? I'm friends with, this rock star. And I go to all his parties and so on. But really, I don't think she ever really wanted that. That was all that she had. There wasn't anything else that she had. But as soon as she sort of could meet, a nice enough guy who was outside of that group, then she quickly established a relationship with him and settled down to be quite a conservative sort of suburban type mum, and so again, her lifestyle of high body count back then, drugs and so on, it was part of a phase and a scene she was in, rather than a kind of a slut thing, I think. So again, another perspective of looking at it. You've been fantastic today, your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening.